What is my advice on school work-life balance? I think my advice is that you need to have some sort of a balance. It's very easy, I think, especially in your first year, to just be completely focused on school, but especially when you are working in addition to going to school, you have to maintain some level of productivity and competence in the job that they're actually paying you to do. And I think it just, for me, it's really balancing work and school and life. And I think that certainly work and school have gotten the bulk of my attention this last 4 years, but I really tried to, I think especially this last year, focus a little bit more on, just trying to have a life in addition to the other two. And I'm really looking forward to getting out of school so that I can have a life again. What are some general comments I have about Santa Clara? In general, I would say that this has been a really good place for me to go to school. I'm glad that I made the choice to go to Santa Clara. I feel like I've received a really good legal education here. I've had a lot of opportunities to expand beyond just the classroom piece, to do, an internship, to do a little work at the law clinic, to go to El Salvador actually this past Christmas with a group of students in an immersion program. I met some really, wonderful people here, fellow students and faculty. I think probably the challenge here is, there's some things we could do as far as facilities go, but I know that there's a lot of stuff in the works for that. And, I just think it's been a really good choice for me for law school. How is life as a 4L as compared to a 1L, 2L, or 3L? In some ways, I thought it would be easier because I'm pretty used to this. I think it's actually been a little more difficult for me because I've been trying to pack more in, and especially this semester being my last semester, there's just a lot of other stuff going on with trying to graduate, apply for the bar and figure out what you need to do for that, and just trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life going forward. So all in all, I think probably my 2L and 3L years were a little more relaxed than this year, or my 1L year. I think I probably put this in my written information, but I would say for advocacy and for legal research and writing, I've had Yvonne Eckern. She was very good. For law my first year, I had Karen Marcus, who I thought was really an excellent first-year law instructor. As far as like upper division classes, Jerry Ullman I thought was great. I had him for evidence and for criminal procedure. And Brand Jundeff I had for federal personal income tax, and I just thought he was a great professor also. But I have to say those are kind of the highlights, and I've had other really great instructors while I've been here too. I think just about everyone I would list, but what one class would I recommend for everyone? I think that's a tough one. Actually, I have to say that I took, and this is probably just a personal bias, but I took employment law last semester with Gary Spitko, who was also a very good professor. And I think it's because I work in human resources that's interesting to me, but I think having some sort of background in employment law is a good thing because fundamentally we're all or most of us are employees. I think the other thing I'm really glad I took was federal personal income tax with Professor Jundev, because I think it was just really good background because taxes, impact all of us in various areas of our lives. So those are courses I would recommend. What is my take on the first year? It is a pretty big learning curve, I think, starting the study of law. You're really learning how to think in a whole new way. You're learning a new vocabulary. For me, it was adding on law school to just a regular job. So trying to figure out how I was going to budget my time and, juggle these different parts of my life was pretty big. But the school provides a lot of resources for kind of trying to ease you in to back into law school. And it's a little trial and error, quite frankly, but I think you have to prepare yourself that this is going to be a lot that you're taking on. So just prepare yourself, I think would be my advice. What is my take on study groups? My take actually is that they're a good thing. I have unfortunately not really had a lot of opportunity. I've really never formed a tight group. Santa Clara does divide the 1Ls the first year in LARA sections and even sections within your section, so you kind of have a pre-made study group. And ours worked pretty well, at least for legal research and writing the first year, but we didn't really expand it beyond that. And, there have been a couple of classes over my law school career where I was able to study with a group, and I thought it was really helpful to exchange ideas, to explain things to each other, to hold each other accountable. But because of my time constraints, I find myself pretty much studying on my own. But I would highly recommend them. What is my typical daily schedule this year? At the moment, I'm taking 3 classes in my last semester. So Mondays, I get up about 6:30, go walking, try to at least in the morning, have breakfast, maybe do a little studying, and then I have class from 9 to 10:15. As soon as I'm done with class, I race to work, and I work until about 5 or 5:30. Then I head back over to campus for an evening class from 6 to 7:15. Tuesdays I don't have class. Wednesdays it's the same schedule. Thursdays I have class in the morning from 9 to about 11:30. And then I'm just trying to figure out how I'm making up those hours that I'm spending in class, as much as possible in the evenings or on the weekends. And that's my typical schedule. Why did I decide to attend Santa Clara University? Well, first of all, I work in human resources, and I work with a fair number of attorneys, and basically everyone that I work with or know of in this area is a Santa Clara law grad. I also happen to work just directly across the street from campus, so obviously the convenience factor was pretty major in my decision. And I think also just the fact that it was a private Jesuit school, and the campus, what I knew of the people and the atmosphere here really made it just like an obvious choice for me.